What if you took an air-cooled 911, fed it twin turbos, and unleashed over 750 horsepower of pure analog madness? Well, that's exactly what Gunther Werks did, and this isn't just another Restomod. It's a relentless, unhinged machine built to shred tracks and rewrite the rules of what a 993 could be. So let's answer the question, what is Gunther Werks? So if Singer is the Swiss watchmaker of Porsche Restomods, then Gunther Werks is the mad scientist in the basement. Only their basement smells like race fuel and carbon fiber resin. That's the origin story of Gunther Werks, a company not content with nostalgia but obsessed with elevating the 993 era Porsche into something more. Not a tribute, not a resto, but a reincarnation, louder, leaner, and built like it escaped from a GT pit lane. Born in Huntington Beach, Gunther Werks started out crafting exotic carbon fiber body kits, but somewhere along the line the obsession got deeper. Today they're known for turning donor 993s into full-blown race-grade analog supercars. Their process? Well, they tear each car down to the bare bones, then rebuild it from the chassis up using aerospace materials, motorsport tech, and a frankly dangerous amount of precision. The only thing left untouched is the soul. Their first swing was the 400R, a naturally aspirated high-revving animal of a car. It was like a GT3 RS that Porsche forgot to build in the 90s. No turbos, no drive modes, no electronic fluff. Just a screaming 3.8-liter flat-six race cams, a manual box, and enough attitude to make a 997 feel tame. Then came Project Tornado. Think of it as the 993 Turbo if it trained with a Navy SEAL team and came back 500 pounds lighter. With a liquid-cooled Roth Sport-built 4.0-liter twin-turbo flat-six, it delivered 600 horsepower in normal mode and a neck-snapping 700 in track mode. It was fast, wide, and built like a carbon fiber hammer aimed at the modern supercar world. At its core, Gunther Werks has one rule: no budget caps, no sanity filters. Everything is about extracting the ultimate version of the last air-cooled 911. If that means custom G-Track gear ratios, titanium bolts, or hand-woven leather interiors that weigh less than your hoodie, then so be it. Nothing is off the table, because this isn't about playing by Porsche's rules, it's about rewriting them. So, after conquering the naturally aspirated world with the 400R and bending reality with Project Tornado, Gunther Werks decided to go even further off the leash. The result was their most extreme machine yet, the Gunther Werks Turbo. Why turbos? Well, because there's only so far you can push naturally aspirated air-cooled power before the laws of physics and your engine blocks start to protest. Forced induction was the next logical step. Not for efficiency or comfort, but for brutality. Pure, calculated brutality. Unveiled at Monterey Car Week to a crowd that collectively forgot how to blink, Gunther Werks didn't build this to win concourse ribbons. They built it to chase lap times and rewire your nervous system. It's the kind of car that dares you to get behind the wheel, dares you to push it, and then rewards you with the kind of adrenaline rush that most modern supercars can only simulate. This is where analog madness meets modern method, and it's only just getting started. Let's start with the monster under the hood. At the heart of the Gunther Werks Turbo is a 4.0-liter flat-six that started life as a humble 993 block, but by the time Roth Sport Racing is done with it, it's about as far from stock as a fire-breathing dragon is from a house cat. This engine is a twin-turbocharged, air-cooled weapon built with race-spec internals and designed to deliver at least 750 horsepower. But here's the thing about that number. It's conservative. Because when Roth Sport builds you an engine, it's not about the brochure, it's about battlefield-ready reliability at redline. Everything inside this motor is purpose-built. Billet aluminum components, a motorsport-grade dry sump system for sustained high G performance, and exotic metals chosen less for cost and more for compatibility. It's a build that laughs in the face of compromise. And the turbos? Well, they're not just here for show. These twin snails are tuned for instant response and massive top-end pull, with the kind of boost control that lets you go from calm to chaos in one downshift. It's the perfect blend of old-school flat-six charisma and modern high-pressure insanity. Of course, all that firepower needs to be tamed, because an engine this powerful doesn't just generate thrust, it generates heat, and a lot of it. So to keep this thing running at peak insanity without melting itself down, Gunther Werks had to engineer a turbo and cooling system that's just as wild as the motor it's bolted to. We're talking twin turbos, surgically dialed for minimal lag. No sudden vintage-style boost spikes, no waiting for the power to show up, just immediate face-melting torque the moment you flex your right foot. And while exact specs are under wraps, the system most likely uses air-to-water intercooling, a setup that delivers consistent charge temps even when you're pushing the car lap after lap, heat cycle after heat cycle. But here's where it gets very Gunther. No detail is too small to obsess over. We're talking bespoke wastegates designed for precision boost control, ceramic coatings on hot side components, and advanced thermal shielding that looks more like it belongs in a spacecraft rather than a road. This whole setup was built to run hot, stay cool, and perform like a race car that accidentally got license plates. It's not just clever engineering, it's necessary engineering. Because when you're channeling 750 plus horses through an air-cooled monster, good enough isn't in the vocabulary. With all that thermal wizardry keeping the turbos in check, there's still one more question. How do you actually control all that power? You don't just bolt a gearbox to a 750 horsepower air-cooled monster and hope for the best. No. What connects man to machine in the Gunther Werks Turbo is just as deliberate as everything else. At the core of it is a 6-speed manual transmission, likely G-Track, maybe even a completely bespoke unit. Either way, this isn't some off-the-shelf gearbox. It's been built to handle serious torque with race-grade internals that can take a beating lap after lap and still serve up that delicious mechanical engagement we all crave. And in true purist fashion, it's rear-wheel drive only. No fancy all-wheel drive systems here, no computer nannying, just you, the rear tires, and a whole lot of throttle discipline. It's a setup that forces you to drive, to think, feel, and react with every shift, corner, and tiny input. Of course, putting power down is only half the equation. The other half is staying in control when everything around you is trying to break free. That's where the chassis and suspension come in, and in true Gunther Werks fashion, it's anything but ordinary. This car isn't just light, it's engineered from the ground up to defy weight. The body is a symphony of carbon fiber, doors, roof, fenders, quarters, everything. It's all sculpted for strength, rigidity, and surgical weight reduction. You're looking at hundreds of pounds shaved off without sacrificing an ounce of stability. But it's underneath where things really get sci-fi. Gunther Werks uses 3D printed suspension arms. Yes, I said 3D printed to create complex geometries that traditional castings simply can't. Paired with custom dampers tuned specifically for this chassis, the result is a suspension setup that reads the road with the same intensity that a concert violinist reads sheet music. Geometry? Well, it's tuned for precision. This car isn't just designed to go fast, it's built to corner like it's magnetized to the pavement. Whether you're flying through an apex or charging down a mountain pass, the turbo stays planted, sharp, and completely under your command. All that grip and geometry has to work in harmony with the body, and that's where the exterior of the Gunther Werks Turbo stops being nostalgic and starts being savage. This isn't just a pretty 993. It's a 993 that's been to war, come back wearing carbon fiber armor, and still wants another round. Yes, it's still a 993 at heart. You can see it in the roofline, the proportions, the iconic wide hips. But every surface has been sculpted, refined, and re-engineered for speed. The intakes aren't just for show, they channel air with purpose. The splitter, the diffusers, the sculpted skirts, all designed to plant the car, not just decorate it. And then there's the rear wing. It's not subtle or shy. It's functional aggression, built to create real downforce and high-speed stability. Combine that with modernized lighting, featherweight wheels, and a stance that looks ready to pounce, and you've got a car that doesn't just look fast, it is fast, even standing still. Step inside and the vibe doesn't soften, it sharpens. Because while the outside screams speed, the interior whispers focus. The Gunther Werks Turbo isn't here to coddle you, it's here to connect you. Everything inside is minimalist, but nothing feels basic. It's high spec through and through. Carbon fiber bucket seats that hug you like a race harness. A sleek digital cluster that delivers only the data you need, and just the right amount of Alcantara to remind you that it is still a luxury object, even if it's a violent luxury object. This isn't about comfort, it's about clarity. Every dial, switch, surface, They're all positioned with the driver in mind, and yet it's not cold or stripped down. There's a sense of craft here, of intention. Slide into that carbon seat, grip the wheel, and twist the key, and suddenly, everything else fades out. The Gunther Werks Turbo doesn't just start, it ignites. Driving it feels like strapping into a war machine with power steering. What hits you first is the torque. Not in a gradual swell, but in a surge. The twin turbos spool with the urgency of a naturally aspirated motor, delivering instant, neck-snapping force without the usual delay. One gear down, one toe on the throttle, and it's like someone launched a missile behind you. But here's the genius. It's violent, yes, but it's not unhinged. The car is loud, raw, and feral, but it's all channeled through surgical tuning. Steering feedback is pure, pedal feel is dialed, and every motion and shift, every input, makes you feel like part of the machine. And for all that power and track focus, it doesn't forget the road. The suspension doesn't punish, the gearbox doesn't bite, because it's a car you can drive to the track, destroy lap times, then drive home while you're still buzzing, grinning, and in one piece. The Gunther Werks Turbo isn't just fast. It's personal, it demands attention, demands skill, but rewards you with one of the most electrifying analog driving experiences on the planet. The Gunther Werks Turbo isn't just another Restomod. It's a war cry from the air-cooled world. Where others pay homage, Gunther Werks punches through with raw power, relentless precision, and zero compromise. It's louder, faster, sharper, and yes, maybe even more focused than anything Singer has put on the table. This is the new benchmark, the new wild card, the beast you either tame or get out of the way for. Let us know what you think about it in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.